Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Gloria Atta. Welcome. The recent terrorism trial of Nnamdi Kanu, a separatist campaigner for the secession of Biafra from Nigeria, which has lingered for almost 10 years, has again been brought forth for trial on Tuesday at the Federal High Court in Abuja, with the first prosecution witness testifying on the defendant's unflinching stance on the self-determination agitation. Earlier on Tuesday, Clearview News' Okoa reported that trial judge James Omotosho had granted the prosecution team permission to shield the identities of witnesses lined up to testify against Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB.
The case of terrorism and treasonable felony charges, which was originally instituted in 2015 following Nnamdi Kanu's arrest in Lagos, witnessed major setbacks for almost a decade, making it impossible for the prosecution to call witnesses and present exhibits until April 29, 2025. Despite his re-arrest and subsequent detention in the Department of State Security Service custody in Abuja, the case had since then been unable to proceed to trial. At the resumed hearing on Tuesday, April 29, 2025, the defense counsel, led by Kanu Akabi, told the court that he had 22 members on his team. The judge, however, said that only 13 listed earlier will be granted approval.
We thank God that the matter has eventually kicked off without rancor. You needed to have been in court to observe the proceedings. All the parties cooperated, and PW1 testified. PW1 is Mr. AAA, as he was designated. He investigated the matter 10 years ago, and today he came and gave his evidence and tendered documents. The matter is very simple. The state has a case against our client, and we are defending him. And for the first time, the matter has been opened, and we have heard what the evidence is. On Friday, we are coming back to cross-examine him. But in the main, the matter has commenced on a good note, very sound note, very civilized trial. And we hope by the grace of God we'll continue on this note and get to the end.
The reason why we have to say something in addition to what the SAN has said. This gentleman here, these lawyers standing with me here, are members of the old guard. We have been there from the get-go, so we know the nitty-gritty of this case. Well, what I can add is we are finally here. The government is finally having the trial that it desires. Our position still remains unchanged despite the ongoing trial. That our client is innocent of the charges, that the case is driven by political considerations, and in the end, the innocence of our client will be established. So we take it from here to 2nd May, when we are going to subject the government witness who testified today. We are going to submit him to, or subject him to cross-examination, and then the truth shall begin to be revealed.
The Biafra agitation, which began in the 1960s, degenerated into a civil war that raged between 1967 and 1970 within the first decade of Nigeria's independence. Kanu, who took the baton for the Biafra agitation and escalated it in 2015, asserted that he and his people have the right to self-determination, which led to his arrest by the Nigerian government, and was charged in 2015 following his increasing separatist campaigns through the then radio Biafra. In its early commencement, the case had on 2 occasions begun afresh as it was reassigned to another judge due to allegations of bias against the judges. In a related development, the case was again totally stalled in 2015 following Kanu's escape from Nigeria in the wake of soldiers' invasion of his home in Afara Okoa near Umuahia in Abia State while he was on bail. The Nigerian government forcibly brought him back to the country after arresting him in Kenya in June 2021 to continue his trial. Meanwhile, trial judge Omotosho has fixed 2nd May 2025 for cross-examination of the witnesses. Imefon Okon, reporting for Clever News.
Now, elder statesman and former Commonwealth Secretary General Chief Emeka Anyaoku has renewed his urgent call for Nigeria to adopt true federalism, warning that the country risks disintegration if it continues under its current centralized structure. Speaking at the 14th Chief Emeka Anyaoku lecture series on good governance in Enugu on Tuesday, Anyaoku stated that only a new democratic constitution that reflects Nigeria's diversity can save it from the fate of other multi-ethnic states that have collapsed under similar strain. Anyaoku, 92, stressed that Nigeria's unitary constitution has hindered good governance and national development, reiterating that without a structural overhaul, the nation remains at risk. Meanwhile, former Delta State Governor Dr. Ifeanyi Okoa has expressed regret over his decision to run as the vice presidential candidate alongside Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 presidential election, admitting it may have contradicted the wishes of his people. Speaking in a television interview, Okoa described his acceptance of the role as a misalignment with the prevailing sentiments in Delta State, an issue he said he has deeply reflected upon. He offered insights into his political decisions, the internal shifts within the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the growing support among Delta stakeholders for the All Progressives Congress, APC. Away from politics, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has recently intensified its enforcement of Naira abuse laws, leading to the arrest of at least 7 high-profile Nigerian celebrities. This enforcement comes amid growing concerns about the mistreatment and misuse of the national currency at social events. Recall that Lagos socialite E-Money was picked on Monday night at his residence in the Omole area of Lagos and taken to the Commission's office in Abuja for questioning following allegations of Naira abuse. While the development has received commendations from the public, the agency was charged not to limit the crackdowns on only celebrities but politicians and others. Afrobeat singer David Adeleke, popularly known as Davidido, has claimed that Nigeria has the worst governments. Speaking in a recent interview with Apple Music's Ibro Darden, Davidido noted that the country does not have the best leaders, adding that despite the poor governance in the country, the entertainment industry has shined a positive light on the nation's global image. The singer added that back in the day, Nigerian music artists were excited when coming to America, but the narrative has changed as they are the ones coming to Lagos. He further said it is not just music, but the culture as a whole. And that's the news. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.